Shalom Aleichem, blessed souls. This is Matook, Danzus Goodman, and I'm here with Blessed Ben Noach, son of Noah, R.W. And before we proceed, I would like to dedicate this following video to Eli Nishmas, to the soul elevation of a beautiful young soul who I knew only too briefly, who ascended on the 3rd day of Iyar last month in the Hebrew calendar, Ronan Levi Yitzhak Sigal. With that being said, R.W., I'd like to ask you a very basic, simple question. How did you come to realize that man is not the creator, but instead, as Rambam writes in his seminal work Mishnah Torah, that the basic foundation and the first principle of faith is to know that there is a Motzai Rishon, a primary being, who brings about all of the creation into being, and everything that is in the heaven and earth comes only into existence because of not just his wisdom or his desire, but the truth of his being. How did you come to realize man is not God, and that God, the Almighty Creator, is way beyond any semblance of formation of the creation that we know as man, or woman for that matter?
Well, then it's funny that you ask this question, because it seemed to have been overlooked that in the Bible, the Torah, in the book of Genesis, Bereshit, there's a detailed explanation of God creating the world, and within this explanation He created man.
That's right.
Where he formed his body and then He breathed His life into him. So we as beings, we should be constantly aware that the fact that we're alive, we're breathing, we've actually been formed from a being which was even higher than ours, and which created us, and given us all the capabilities that we actually have right now. Because even though you would say, okay, fine, my parents gave birth to me, but who gave birth to them? And you can go all the way back to the first man, and you will see in the Torah where there's a detailed explanation of his creation.
So, if I understand correctly, you never had this idea that man was God, or you came to a more elevated view that man cannot be God? In your early days when you were attending, say, church services in South America?
Well, I always knew that there was the difference, because looking from the closest example of your parents, you know that you were born from from them, but nevertheless you are not them. You cannot become them.
Right.
You are basically just more or less like an extension of them.
That's right. I'd just like to end on this note, blessed souls, that there is a teaching from the oral tradition of Torah that if you were to go into I'm paraphrasing, if you went into a coin mint factory, there's a specific mold for a penny, a nickel, a dime, 50-cent piece, or maybe a silver dollar, and you wouldn't expect the mold for a penny to create and bring out the formation, actual usage of a dime, or a quarter, a 50-cent piece, a dollar piece. Same thing with a dollar mold. You wouldn't expect a penny to come out of that. But the Most High, His ways are not our ways. He took original man, formed him from the earth, and from original man comes original woman as well. And from those two original beings, human beings, as we call them, comes the multiplicity and the rich variety that we find spread all over this blessed human earth. So the Almighty's mint, so to speak, spiritual mold for the human race was not that we should all look the same. In fact, not all should all think the same. Every one of us has our own potentialities and things that we have to actualize in our blessed lifetime. So that's just something I want to share with everyone. And with that note, we're going to conclude this little video here, wishing everyone a wonderful day. And I know for myself a sense of thanks and praise to the Almighty that once again we can come back on the internet, share this type of videos. We were shut down for a couple weeks for logistical reasons. So this is Dan Zusio Goodman reminding everyone, Sababa, rejoice, Ahava Echad, one love, Gorel Echad, one destiny. Babori Echad, in one creator. And leaving you with this very important piece of intercommunication, communication with you blessed souls. The most valuable resource on this physical earth is the physical manifestation of the human race. And all of us as descendants, ultimately, not just of the children of Israel, but the children of Noah, also the children of Adam, Arishon, original man, we all put in this garden, this earth, blessed earth, to serve the Almighty Creator and to protect this earth. So let us hopefully go in this spirit in a peaceful and pleasant way. Ron, would you like to add anything?
Actually, I would. This coming Thursday evening marks the beginning of
Keep on talking.
Shavuot, which
Shavuot.
which is the giving of the Torah. So I'd just like to add that maybe, we just review the Torah, because it was given basically for all men.
That's right. Good job. That's it? Yeah, great one. Okay, let's just conclude on together by reading the very last verse, actually the first verse in Psalms by King David. And hopefully this will become something that others will emulate to try to live by, as we try to. Ashrei, Ha'ish, Asher, Lo, Halach, Ba'atzas, Rishoyim, Uvuderech, Chatoyim, Lo, Omad, Uvmoshav, Leitzim, Lo, Yoshav, which translated means, fortunate is the man that has not gone in the counsels of the wicked and the way of the sinners, and has not stood there with the way of the sinners, and in the dwelling of the scorners he has not sat. And concluding, blessed souls, and this is a beautiful way, hopefully we'll conclude with this verse when we make more videos. Kol, Haneshama, Tahalel, Yah, Hallelujah. Everything that has a soul should give praise to the Almighty. Praises the Almighty. Lahamshik, to be continued.